Yeah, they said they weren't concerned, but did make the joke of, let's just make sure he doesn't go ice fishing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's probably was.
Well, all men hate cold water because of shrinkage.
Well, ordinarily, I wouldn't mind, but...
But what?
Well, I just got back from swimming in the pool, and the water was cold.
You mean shrinkage?
Yes! Significant shrinkage.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamorro. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride and she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight. He ain't doing nothing but running his mouth. Talk about it, we all about it. They making plans, we sit and count. Our chairs stacked just like a mountain. You heard about it, she running her mouth.
I'm going to ask the resident golfer this question to start the show this morning.
What's up?
Is it ever going to get warm again?
I mean, it's supposed to be warm this weekend.
Okay,
in the 50s.
I figured you would know.
Yeah, in the 50s this weekend.
If there's someone on the show who has a, investment in the weather and getting warmer and being able to get outside and hit the links.
Yesterday wasn't terrible. Yesterday was fine.
What's warm?
50s.
I need a little more than 50.
You guys know what's happening tonight, right?
Don't even say it. Is it the S word?
Mm-hmm.
Don't even say it.
Wasn't that supposed to be this morning? They pushed it?
No, I believe. Last I heard, it was Monday night into Tuesday morning, and a dusting of.
Why are you guys acting shocked? You're like acting. You're
No one's shocked.
No one's
This
shocked.
is
No one's shocked. We're
disappointment.
upset.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is disappointment.
I thought there was a little bit of shock in there.
No, that's why my first question was, is it ever going to get warm?
You've got 2 more sizable snows left.
No chance. 2 more sizable snows.
Define sizable
No.
snow.
I'll take the under.
Yeah.
2 to 3 inches.
Oh, way under.
That's not sizable. 3 inches is a sizable snow in Wisconsin? You are
For April?
soft as Charmin.
For April, yes, that is sizable.
I think we barely got the over during regular winter on the sizable snow.
So you're saying yes or no to what I just said?
You're way wrong.
Way wrong.
2 more 2 to 3s? You're insane. I'd take that bet all day long.
Again,
No.
Chewy, I think we
Maybe
only had
one.
I mean, yeah, we maybe had 2 to 3s all winter.
Yeah.
That's why. It's a coming.
You don't even live here anymore. You have no idea what the
Which
hell
is
you're
why he
talking
feels
about.
so comfortable just throwing these out there. Just 2 to 3 more. There's no chance we have sizables.
No.
Tonight's going to be, like you said, a dusting, which
Yeah, if you
doesn't
park your
make me
car
happy.
outside, you probably have to wipe it off.
What was that sound you made the other day, Joshy, when Chewy was talking about the lunch meats?
I don't remember.
That's how I feel.
This guy, he's just trying to make us feel bad.
Yeah, of course he is.
He has no intention. He doesn't mean what he's saying.
No, it's just...
You're saying he doesn't have any integrity?
Yes.
I tell you, the worst months in Wisconsin are March and April.
Well, how can how can April be the worst month?
Because you see light at the end of the tunnel, and then it's 40 the next day.
Yeah,
It's very frustrating.
This is why February is the worst day.
Yeah.
Or the worst month.
No, because February, you know what you're getting. You know what
I'm
you're getting.
putting it on the poll.
But it
You're so
stinks. Like, at least I get some good days in April.
March is the
there
worst.
are 0 good days in February.
March
None.
is the worst. March is the worst.
I disagree.
I was back there for a week and saw 6 hours of sun in 6 days.
It's because you're SAWFT. You're soft.
Yes, I did shut the pool heater off yesterday.
Is that like with a Boston accent?
Yeah.
Is that you're soft. What do you mean you turn the pool heater off?
I don't need it anymore. It's good. So it drops down. What did it drop down? It dropped down to 85 this morning, and it'll be back to 88, 89 with the sun. So
I assumed you turned it off to give a little hint to your friend who wouldn't get out of the pool, who wouldn't leave this weekend. You turned the pool heater off. Maybe he gets
Do you have
on out of
friends
it.
like that just have no idea when to leave? Because if I go over someone's house to a small party or something, the first hint of, okay, it's time to wrap this party up, I'm out the door.
you're not. You're not even waiting around that long.
First of all,
you haven't seen a wrap up in months, years.
So my buddy, who's
you walk through the door and you're looking forward to leaving.
Who's a Division III women's basketball coach in Massachusetts, very successful, 3 national championships. So he's down here was down here for the women's Final Four because they have their convention tied into the Final Four. So we had it to do Friday night, probably 12 people, 15 people. He didn't know anyone, so he's here. So before we go to bed, we go in the pool. It's about 10, gets to maybe 11:15. Me and Angie throwing hints left and right. All right, let's wrap this up. Can you get this? He's not moving. He's still sitting in the pool as we're putting the floaties and shutting all the lights down. So I'm like, time to go. Like, okay, we're going to bed. And he's still sitting in the kitchen with his swimsuit on. I'm like, we're going to bed. Do you want to stay here? No. Okay, we're going to bed. Everyone else is in bed. I'm shutting the lights off. I'm like, are you going to stay here? Because I'm shutting down. What? Lock up the house. And I don't know what happened. I just left. I went to bed with Angie.
So when you woke up this morning, he was gone? He wasn't there anymore?
He was gone.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I figured that was.
But do you have friends like that have no clue when to leave?
So it's a lack of situational awareness, right?
I guess.
Having too much.
Now this is a kid. I've known him ever since he's been 3 years old. Neighbor. He would come into our house when none of the boys were home and just sit there and watch TV.
Well, there you go. I mean, there's a pattern of behavior here. Like, you should know that you have to be direct and overt with what you want with this kid because, well, from the time all of the time you've known him, he's sort of been a little spacey.
He's 55.
Well, now.
I think that's on him. That's not on me.
Well, part of this is on you. If you didn't have such a nice house with a pool, the good booze, the good wine,
he doesn't drink. He doesn't drink, so he's one of those.
Well,
I was one of those.
This changes everything. I was about to blame alcohol because I was going to say everybody after they've probably had a few too many probably it lacks awareness in that spot. But if you're dry, then you're just clueless, or you think you're more comfortable somewhere than maybe you actually are,
or you think people want to be around you longer than they do.
I never have that thought. Never crossed my mind.
Me neither, actually.
Yes,
I'm like you. I walk in a room and go, "You're sick of me, aren't you?" I'll just leave.
Time to go. All right, I'm out of here.
I've already worn out my welcome, haven't I? Yeah. So you were dropping hints, right? Like, because I think it's very important. Like, we joke around here in the Midwest that people do the thing where you slap on the knees and go, "Welp, about that time," right? And that's the universal signal in the Midwest of, things are wrapping up, time to stand up, time to get on out of here. But did you do the traditional Midwestern? Well,
yeah, because the game was terrible. So,
but also the game
was at. The game was at 3 Eastern your time.
No. This is Friday night.
Oh.
This is Friday night. So the game was terrible. I think the last one was UConn. Who did UConn play in the?
UCLA.
Oh, come
UCLA.
on.
He wasn't going to get there. He wasn't going to get there.
But you're dropping hints of this game is terrible. Let's go to bed.
Wait, so what time is this?
That we're dropping hints?
Yeah.
Well, everyone else had left.
How many people were there? Was it a small get-together,
15,
a large get-together?
15,
okay, so it was a large
20.
get-together. So he's the last man standing in a large group.
The kids were all out of the pool, headed up toward me and Angie, because he wouldn't take hints. I'm like, okay, will you bring those dishes in over there? Angie's telling me, just like, it's winding down.
Did you do the stretch? Did you do the... did you do the yawn stretch?
When I say to him, give me your floaty, we're going to bed.
Yeah, you don't
should get the hint.
I'm just wondering if that was the first hint you dropped. Like, these have to be progressive, right?
I kept with the game is terrible. This game is terrible.
That's
Shut
a
it
little
off.
vague.
That's hard to tell.
Yeah, I agree, Josh. It's a little vague.
Because you're a complainer.
I'm a complainer.
You could just be complaining about the sport.
Could be a 3-point game.
Right.
Chewy thinks it's terrible.
Yeah.
But I want to fast forward. So it's the end of the night. Clearly he knows you're going to bed. You've said multiple times you're going to bed. You've cleaned up the pool. You've cleaned up the party. These are all hints that this guy should have picked up on. Did you turn off the light and just leave him sitting there in the dark?
I got out of the pool. I put a shirt on when I leave He's standing in our kitchen with just his swimsuit on.
No shirt, no nothing.
No shirt, no shoes, no nothing. I got all the towels wrapped around me because on the way up, I'd throw them in the washer. And he's just like, I'm like, what are you doing? We're going to bed.
What was his
he didn't need to say because he wasn't.
When you said you were going to bed, what was his response?
There was none.
Just blankly looking at you?
Yeah.
Okay, I need a foolproof get the bleep out without saying get the bleep out. What is it?
I mean, turning off all the lights is pretty. I don't know what else you can do.
Here's how you do it. Do you need to call an Uber? Do you have a ride?
No,
How
he's
can we
got a
get you
car
home?
there. He's got a rental car there, and he's staying probably 17 minutes
But
away.
to Joshy's point, maybe you ask the question
Yeah.
to prompt the reaction of, oh, I should go.
Or if you know he's not, hey, you know you're going, you have the directions,
Yeah.
you're sure.
Well, I had nowhere else to go, and I said, do you want to stay here? Because we have a bed. No, I'm fine.
So I think we've all been there before. I have also had friends, maybe a little lack of self-awareness, and you're wrapping things up. You're ready to,
Yeah.
and they just don't seem to be getting the hint. And I think you just have to start moving towards the door. You move everything towards the front door, right? You're in a gathering space, whether it's the kitchen or the living room for the social activity, and you just start slowly moving towards the door. And it feels like when you grab that handle and you swing it open, without taking your foot in, it's sort of a, okay, thanks again, really good time. It's great. Yeah, can't wait for the next one. That to me feels like an obvious, hey, get a move on. Yes, fair, unfair? Is moving towards the front door
He
a
wouldn't move,
viable?
though. He wouldn't move.
Yeah, if you're
and then
not
the next
moving when
morning,
the lights are going
and then
on,
the
turn it off.
next morning, he scolded me for not going to church. He's
On a
like, you weren't
Saturday?
at church. No, this was.
Story's falling apart.
No, because I guess I said I'd pick him up and take him over there. Totally forgot. He and she had scheduled something, and I'm like, I said, sir.
Seems like the
I
scolding
said,
was
what
warranted.
did you call my mother? He's the type of guy that would call my mother. So I responded back to him. I said, sorry, Charlene, I didn't make it.
Well, but if you told the guy you're going to take him.
Yeah.
Now, my mother.
This one's
My
on
mother.
You. This one's on you.
If there's one seat in the lifeboat, my mother's giving it to him.
Okay, great.
So that's been kind of the relationship. I mean, I didn't want to say it, but huge dork. But he knows he's a dork.
He so regretted it, I could tell.
Yeah. I still think we need to come up with the foolproof plan, the foolproof way to get somebody who is not taking any of the hints to leave the house. Chewy turned off all the lights, didn't work with this guy. Is there a foolproof?
I think we have an epidemic of being too polite. You could simply say, night's over, we're wrapping things up. Are you ready to go? Can we help you go? I think the dancing around it and hinting by saying this game is terrible, to me, I don't know if I'd pick up on that. Because I'd think, oh, that's Chewy being Chewy. He's complaining about something, how basketball was better back in his day. That to me means nothing. Now, lights, you should probably be catching a hint on.
No, but why I was
what I'm
saying that, Josh.
Like, if you're not picking up on somebody going, hey, I'm going to bed and turning off the lights, you're not catching on to anything.
I'm just talking about universally. Maybe Chewy's buddy is the exception to the rule. Maybe he's an outlier, if you will, Gladwell. But for most people, what is the thing that gets them off of their keister and out the door? Is it washing the dishes? Somebody steps over to the sink and starts cleaning dishes. That to me is like a sign.
I'll do that mid-party.
See, that's tricky then. If you're a mid-party dishwasher.
Well, but Josh probably wants people out of his house at the mid-party.
I think
part of the reason he's doing the dishes is to get people out of his house.
Or at least half of them, right?
Maybe we'll clear out some people. That's a move, too. Make it seem like everyone's leaving, and then the people you want to leave, and you go, all right, party's back on. Get it back going. Let's fire it up. Pour some shots.
But I think
Thank God they finally left.
All the kids going to bed, that's a huge sign, right?
Well, especially the kids going to bed. If the younger folks are going to bed.
All the kids were in bed, yes.
800-990-3776. I need your foolproof plans, your foolproof lines or moves that get people to out the door. Get them moving. Get them out of there. Night is coming to a close. Can't stay here, that whole thing. What is your move? What is your line? How do you get people out the door?
I don't know if you guys remember the story, but this is the same guy and his kid that came up for a Packer game and a Brewer game. And the Packer game was a preseason at 1 o'clock, and I came down at about 7:30, and they're in their Seattle, like the Seahawks, Seattle's jersey, sitting on the couch and going, aren't you going to shower and get ready? I'm like, hold on. You weren't under the impression that I was going to the game, were you? So I think that explains a little bit.
Well,
you know?
Again, if you don't explain that you're not, if people came up here and you got them the tickets, typically people are going to think that you're going with them.
You know what the best one of all is? So me and Angie, they were leaving and we walked them out. He's got a 14-year-old kid. He made the 14-year-old kid sit in the back seat with his seatbelt on behind the passenger seat, the in the front. And we're like, what are you doing? He's like, well, it's safer for... I'm like, he's 14. Is that true? Do people put 14-year-olds in the back
I defer
seat?
to the parent who once had a 14-year-old.
Yeah, I'm not gonna shame anybody for being safe.
I was gonna say, I remember that rule, but I never knew if it was like the wives' tale, like when I believed that having your dome light on when you drove was like against the law. I thought there was like laws and rules. I don't know the actual like science behind, because obviously car seats exist for a reason, but at what age is it fine to be just in a seat?
Well,
does
it's
the
height
location...
and weight dependent. Yeah. It also varies from state to state. But yes, whether scientifically you are safer in the backseat than you are in the front, especially when the seatbelt might be too big for your body.
Right, where it reaches your neck, maybe.
Oh,
At 14, Dyson was driving me to restaurants.
Hey, again, you're not the safety police here then, okay? If you've got your 14-year-old Uber driving you around.
Well, also, B, how big was Dyson at 14?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's over 6 feet.
Yeah.
Do you, just out of curiosity,
larger than most grown men.
Do you feel it when your arguments are just crumbling before you? Do you have a visual in your head of like...
No, because the most important time, I think, and my father believed this, to introduce a kid to driving the car is in the snow. So then they know how it reacts, which is, I agree.
We got a lot of reaction rolling in on the Carbless talk and text line. For instance, Dumpy says, you know what? Never mind what Dumpy says. We're going to hold on to that. I got to address it with these guys during the break and see if I can even say what Dumpy said on the radio.
I'm going to tell you this right now.
Nope.
The answer is no.
Okay. Being a former bartender at closing time, we would say, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. That from Augie from Fredonia. Yeah, that's what I was getting to earlier. The old closing time thing. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. How do you get people to leave your house when they are not moving? Matthew says visiting hours are over. I like this one, though. Let's see. Scott says, can I get you something like your coat or a bottle of water for the road?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I don't think he's biting on that. I don't.
Yeah, again, this guy wasn't biting on anything, Chew. You left him in the dark in your kitchen. This guy wasn't picking up on anything.
No.
You could have told him to get the hell out of here, and I think he's still sitting there.
Dave says, what about putting him to work if he's going to hang around? Give him some real random stuff to do. At least if he's lingering, you should get something out of it. Hey, can you dust that shelf over there? I've been meaning to do it for. Oh, that's a good one. Can you take this garbage out on your way to the car? Uh-huh. That might be the foolproof one, Joshy. If I hand someone my garbage bags, I feel like that message has been sent loud and clear.
I wonder if he just went home in his bathing suit.
It's possible.
Yeah. Did he have other clothes?
Well, yeah, he came with clothes.
Are they still at your house?
You know, I should check the cameras of what time he left.
Yes, will you please do that during the break and let us know? Okay. That'd be amazing. We'll take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Lots of stuff to get to. I'm sure you've noticed that the Brewers are doing some yeoman's work out there despite having a boatload of players injured early this season. We'll talk about that. The women crowned a champion yesterday. The men will do it this evening. And there was some Packers news over the weekend. We will get to it all this morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Stick around.
Need a new vehicle? Check out Ewald Automotive Group's Spring into a New Sales event. Over 1,500 new and used vehicles. Low price guarantee on new vehicles as well. Shop their certified best used cars starting under $9,995. Financing for everyone. No payments till summer with approved credit. Now is the time to upgrade. With Ewald, it is always friendly people who treat you right, great selection, and low prices. And again, the great thing about Ewald, 10 locations, plenty of options for you. And with Ewald, it's always easy. Mention the great people. They are fantastic to work with. It's why I have done it ever since I've been here in Milwaukee. It all starts by going to their website, ewaldauto.com.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Things are backing up a bit. Basically on eastbound 94 from the Stadium interchange all the way to 13th Street where there is an accident. Cars on either shoulder right now, so just keep that in mind if you're going to be heading through that area. Going to be a little bit on the tight side. The rest of the system is actually looking pretty good. Pretty smooth ride otherwise. Traffic is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. A few snow showers, mostly cloudy, otherwise windy, cold with a high of 37 tonight. Skies will clear up a little bit. It'll be cold, though, with the low of 22. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
With a dedicated Milwaukee team, Fifth Third Bank knows what success looks like. For 15 years, we've been serving businesses, organizations, and individuals in the area with a long-standing commitment to the healthcare and not-for-profit sectors. Whether it's expansion to commercial payments, Fifth Third offers a full suite of financial services and solutions to navigate your organization's complex needs. Experience the difference with Fifth Third Bank. National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
There's a winning magic powering up at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. This April, prepare for an exciting quest to $300,000 in the Enchanted Spin Slot Tournament. Just conjure your rewards card and play slots to earn drawing entries. Each Thursday, 60 winners will compete for thousands in cash and prizes. Let your journey begin with Enchanted Spins, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Save big money on your entire roofing project at Menards. Owens Corning Architectural Shingles are the #1 brand trusted by contractors. With a limited lifetime and up to 130 miles per hour wind warranty. Protecting your home for years to come. Choose from over 40 options and save big money on all Owens Corning shingles now at Menards. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Are you going to answer the question?
What's the question?
Can the Packers win without Aaron Jones on Sunday?
Yes. Will you stop? You know what he is? He's like the little devil on the shoulder.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Look, if you saw how the Brewers performed against the New York Yankees for the first series of the season, you might have been ready to throw in the towel, at least for the early portion of the year. Because the Brewers, for all the optimism that was surrounding this pitching staff in spring training, the depth of the pitching, in particular at the starting spot, you were thinking, woof, we are in a bad spot. This is going to be bad. And I got to be honest with you, the Brewers have done a hell of a job, especially with the pieces they have, at sitting at 500 now. So they lose the first 3 games of that series against the Yankees, guys. And since then, pretty good little record here. 5-2 at home to be 5-5 on the season. And this is yesterday after they announced that another starting pitcher is going on the injured list. Gabe, what's the latest?
They won yesterday.
They did. Yes, they won.
Churio had 2 home runs.
It is bad. Because yes, the Brewers do have depth in starting pitching. They do have starting pitching depth. But when you have 7 guys that are currently now on the IL, one isn't actually hurt. Jose Quintana, not hurt, going to be eligible on Friday. He's just ramping up, so he'll come off, meaning you have 6 guys that are actually hurt. That's more than an actual starting staff. So when you have that many injuries, this is like the Lions and all the injuries they went through and somehow having to play. It's just ridiculous. And it's all like different types of injuries for everybody. You got a couple obliques in there, but a hamstring, a lat, a shoulder, flexor strain, all sorts of different injuries for these starting pitchers for the Brewers.
Do they blame anybody? Do they blame anyone, Gabe?
No.
Because if this happens in football, if there's a rash of, say, muscle pulls or like 5 of the same injuries, they always blame the strength coach, and a lot of times they fire the strength coach.
Well, the only thing...
That doesn't happen in baseball?
Yeah, maybe if it was all like the same injury, but it's not.
If it's all like oblique,
yeah.
If everybody's coming up with an oblique injury, you're going, okay, something's
But,
not.
Woodruff is still ramping up because he had major shoulder surgery. Aaron Savali tweaked his hamstring. Nestor Cortez has a flexor strain. For DL Hall, it's a lat. And then Myers and
Perkins has a leg,
Ashby
right?
Has an oblique.
Oh, but that's an outfielder.
That's
We're
an
talking
outfielder.
pitchers.
Yeah.
I also think with baseball, especially with pitchers, it would go deeper than just the strength, Trav. It would go to the training program and the work they're putting those pitchers under. But I don't think, as Gabe pointed out, that you can point to that because it is all different injuries.
Yeah.
But yeah, like they kind of get dictated to them how they're going to train and use their arms and be out pitching because they are so valuable.
Yeah, so I can't really blame anybody because Savali has a hamstring and Cortez has a flexor. Those are just 2 wildly different injuries.
Now, the good news is they're saying that Cortez is a concern level low. So that's helpful. Obviously, if there's going to be another injury, concern level low makes you feel a little bit better about it. But I really want to spotlight, guys, how they have been figuring out ways to win games. Because you would think, Chew, that not having your ideal starting pitcher, not being able to trot out a guy to go deep into these games on a day-by-day basis, you'd be up against it. And there'd be no way that you'd be able to dig yourself out of that type of hole. And yet here they are. So you guys mentioned, obviously, Jackson Churio with a big day yesterday. People were talking about how he had a slow start to the season, but that he would eventually come on. I don't think there was a lot of real concern about Jackson Churio being able to hit the ball. Chew, have you ever had a stretch in your career where you guys were up against it from an injury standpoint, and you still figured out a way maybe to win games in spite of the health of the team?
We went through a stretch in '96 where...
Oh, man.
Robert tears his ACL, Free breaks his forearm, and I tear my plantar fascia. So those 3 pieces on offense. Then we went through a skid. We lost in Kansas City, who was pretty good. They were a good team. And then we go to Dallas and really don't compete, even though the score wasn't too crazy. And then we go to St. Louis, who's absolutely horrible. They have like 2 wins, and we're tied at halftime like 9-9 with them. And that's when a blow-up happened, and then we work our – Free came back, I came back. Robert was gone, but
you pick up Andre
Rison,
and you navigate your way through that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it happens. But they went through this last year, didn't they? I mean, they lose Woodruff, and then Miley gets hurt, and then they're scrambling, and there's what wasn't it, Gabe?
Yeah,
so they're kind of used to these types of things
to an extent, but it wasn't this.
Not this bad.
Yeah, I mean, again, the good news is because as you mentioned, like with Woodruff, with Wade Miley, those were season-ending injuries. All these guys are expected back at some point. Unfortunately, most of it seems like it's going to be end of April, early May, middle of May. So there's still a lot that they have to do to navigate this. They're going to get some help with Quintana this Friday. Who knows when Savali's going to be back from the hamstring, and then after that, yeah, you're looking of still navigating the rest of this month and into May.
Well, because then you have to fight the urge to overwork the healthy guys, right? Like you can't ask them to go deeper into games to try to preserve a bullpen because you got to do a bullpen day at some point. You got to do the old either the opener type thing or a bullpen day where every guy is coming out of the pen essentially. Like you got to fight that urge to say, all right, Quintana, good to have you. Gonna need you on 4 days rest. Like that doesn't do you any good at this time of the year either.
No,
so it's a tricky spot that Pat and company are in, Gabe.
I think it's going to be a lot on the bullpen. Like they've got some guys. I know everybody was in love with Craig Yoho during spring training. It's guys like that they're going to have to come up because they're just going to cycle through guys in the bullpen of, we might overuse you and then send you down, give you some rest before we eventually bring you back up. But that's what it's going to have to be because it's great that Freddie earlier in the week was able to throw 8 innings, which is something he hadn't done in a long time, and he did it efficiently under 100 pitches. It's just about, okay, how do we continue to navigate that? And a lot of that's just going to be on the bullpen.
But is this the only position? Is this the position in all sports where you have to be 100% in order to play?
Yeah, as close to it as possible. Yeah, because if you're just
you have a hamstring and you're coming back,
you're off.
I mean, that still affects the way you throw the ball.
100%.
Yeah.
What's with you and I with the jinxing today? That's twice in 2 segments now where Gabe and I have basically...
Let's make it 3 for 3.
A downtick in like 2 miles per hour in your fastball can mean you get absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, it's the difference between a strikeout and a ball that's traveling 450 feet.
It is, like, they track that when guys are losing velocity, even like in-game, if it seems abnormally low, they'll pull guys like preventatively and like be like, we need to check out what's going on here because something's not right with them.
Yeah, so I think you're right, Chewy. You have to be as close to 100% as possible to have any sort of, because, if you're losing velocity, then your breaking pitches aren't even breaking as much. Like everything goes to hell.
So Jair would have been a hell of a pitcher then, right?
He would have been fantastic.
So philosophically,
he'd be in the minor leagues.
If you're a Brewers fan, gang,
it's a great drive by Jair.
just take him out. Not even talking about the Packers, and all of a sudden, Jair's getting shrapnel from this conversation. But here's what I want to hit on before we move on. If you're a Brewers fan, this is very promising, right? Like, that was the sentiment that I walked away from after watching them. And again, Reds had a lot of trouble. Reds had a lot of trouble scoring runs this weekend. But if you're a Brewers fan and you're going, holy moly, they're taking chicken salad. Nope. You know what? They're doing the thing. The thing where you take the thing and you turn it into the thing. That's what they're doing.
And making chicken
salad.
Thank
you. That's exactly right, Joshy. They're taking the bleep and they're making the salad. And that makes me optimistic for when this team gets healthy. That's what it does. It makes me feel like if they can hang and tread water and keep their breathing above the water now, just think when this staff gets healthy. Just think when this team gets healthy. That I feel a lot better, even though I was feeling a little bit of dread and not overwhelming because I know baseball's a long season, so don't come at me in the mentions. But I felt a little dread after they gave up 36 runs to the Yankees in the opening series. I'm not going to lie. And I thought, this is what it's going to be like, series in and series out.
Single-handedly, the pitching staff created a controversy in baseball. Single-handedly. Because of the torpedo bats. Turns out Brewers pitching was just bad. Turns out torpedo bats Not that big of a deal. Turns out when you throw a bunch of just bleep-high fastballs, they get hit out of the ballpark on a pretty regular basis.
This is why I said at the beginning of the season, this is the front office that I trust the most in the state. This is it. This is why.
It's hard to disagree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, because how many people knew who yesterday's starter was? Anybody?
Chad Patrick?
Chad Patrick was that gentleman's name.
26-year-old, first time in the bigs, I believe.
Wait, didn't I send you guys that last week too? I was like, MLB Network is saying this guy is starting for the Brewers, and I sent you his bio, and none of us had heard of him.
Yeah, What about the guy who pitched so well on Friday night? Anybody?
I don't even remember his name.
Lefty Tyler Alexander. A lot of creative name.
Yeah, I was going to say these are not real
these
names.
These are just like double first names. Just create a player from MLB The Show. These are the type of guys who are just.
It's an AI pitcher. He's just a hologram out there.
Yes.
Yeah. There's some kid back at home just programming the strikes or programming the pitches. Ball, strike, ball. Do you feel like I do, which is after seeing what the Brewers have done in the first 10 games of the season, knowing what they're dealing with from an injury standpoint, this is giving you more optimism for this team headed into the further months, the months ahead. Gabe, you feel the way that I do, which is, man, if they can do this now, I feel real good for when they start to get these guys back in May, in April. Well, if Cortez is a TBD, that doesn't make me feel as good.
Because we're, I mean, again, the concern level is low, but still you don't know, okay, is that just one stint on the IL? Is it going to be an extended stint? So we're still waiting for news on Nestor.
Or Chew is 2 weeks, which is kind of what we're looking at here. Savali eligible 4/15. Myers end of April. Is 2 weeks too much for them to overcome?
No, not based upon years past. They're a playoff team.
Yeah, I mean, again,
they're a playoff team, and all you got to do is get in the playoffs and then get hot. That's it.
I am still, to quote Samuel L. Jackson, I'm still holding on to my butt a little bit. Because, again, yesterday, fantastic for, our guy Chad Patrick. But he's probably going to have to do it, 3 or 4 more times before we get the Brewers to be completely healthy. So if they can get to the end of April and some of those reinforcements start coming and they're 500 a little bit better, then you're going to feel fine. Then you're going to feel perfectly fine. Okay, now we're healthy. Now we can go. But you just have to be able to keep treading water for the next 3 weeks.
Well, and for anybody who wants to put a little money on the Brewers over at Potawatomi Sportsbook, guys, this week, obviously, them winning these games has moved the number a little bit. Josh, I believe when we talked about it this week, what was it, 4 something?
I think it was 340. Plus 340?
Oh, well, now it's plus 350. So now's the time to get in on the Brewers to win the National League Central. Cubs are the favorite, obviously. But if you think that this Brewers team could do what they did last year and win the NL Central, might be a good little bet to put some money on right now, as they are probably never going to have a tougher row to hoe than they are navigating currently with the injuries they are dealing with. Are you like me? The way the Brewers have performed in the first 10 games of the season, especially after the 3-game series against the Yankees, I'm feeling more optimistic about what this team can do. The fact that they have been able to keep their heads above water with all of these injuries. Let us know, 800-990-3776. Weigh in on the Carbless talk and text line or chat with us on the YouTube stream. We are at ESPN Milwaukee. We'll be right back after this.
Bucks fans, time to show off your skills. And with a pair of Bucks tickets on the line, if you do that, we all know this is the time of year we're all a little distracted by hoops, whether it's at home, on the driveway hoop, if you go, maybe to your gym, they've got a court there. Maybe you're just at work, you're rolling up a ball of paper and firing that into the garbage at work. We're all trying to get buckets, and we want you to show us your best shots. Send us a video at ESPN Milwaukee on Twitter using the hashtag BucksTrickShot of your creative shots. Send it in before April 8th. Again, this deadline is tomorrow. And you could win 2 Bucks tickets to the regular season finale, April 13th against Detroit. Remember, hashtag BucksTrickShot. Send us your best trick shots on Twitter and submit your stuff.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
All right, we still have this accident eastbound 94 right about at 13th Street. Cars on either shoulder. Now we've got heavier volume heading through the area as well. So delays coming in from just before 76th Street all the way to 13th. We've also got westbound 94 slowing down just past Calhoun heading towards Brookfield Road. Southbound 43, we've got a pretty good ride shaping up. No major delays heading into the Marquette. Northbound's filling in with volume a bit. Quick tap of the brakes right by Keefe. Lake Lawn Resort offers everything you need from lakeside rooms to gourmet dining and a luxurious spa. Relax, recharge, and enjoy the best of Delavan. Book your stay now at lakelawnresort.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, a few snow showers, mostly cloudy, otherwise windy, cold, a high of 37. Tonight, clearing skies, cold with a low of 22. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Buying a roof, siding, or windows can feel overwhelming. Hidden costs, confusing contracts. We don't play that game. We educate you so that you can decide. And when you know the facts, Infinity Exteriors is the clear choice. Since 1997, we've installed peace of mind with no surprise upcharges, flexible budgets, and immediate financing. Infinity Exteriors, saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions, a very handsome reward indeed. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash and non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% IRA boost on annual contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
He's coming. Here he comes. Surprise! Your table saw broke. Also, the warranty expired weeks ago, so you need to pay for a new one out of pocket.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Oh, and the replacement part you ordered doesn't fit, so it's completely useless. What a waste.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Come on in to Total Wine & More. Prices much lower than a grocery store. Spirits, wine, beer for a whole lot less. Walking down the aisles makes you stop and say, yes. From mixing cocktails to a friendly get-together, Total Wine has everything you need and more. With the lowest prices and best selection for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Brad Norman here with some great news from my friends at Bank 5-9. For a limited time, you can earn as much as 4.8% on one of their CD specials. With 9, 17, and 25-month options, you're sure to find a CD that fits your needs while you earn a great return. It's simply another way Bank 5-9 is making lives better in our communities. Hurry! These high rates won't last long. Check out bank59.com/CD for more details. Member FDIC.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
There's a lot of sodas now that are prebiotic sodas
they
as
don't
well.
work. They're called poop. No, they're really called poop, I think. You buy them on Amazon.
I thought you were going to stop talking.
You got a lot of brust in you. You know that?
On 94.5 ESPN.
People have some thoughts on your Milwaukee Brewers. Dave from Aaron says, I said when we started 0-4 this season, if we can keep it to 500 through the month of April and our starters get healthy, we will be in good shape. Meanwhile, Chef Ed weighing in saying, Yelich, Contreras, and Hoskins haven't even hit yet. My bold prediction, the Brewers will be in the NLCS. Well, I'll take it. I'll take it absolutely on March. What is it? They're on April 7th?
April 7th.
April 7th.
Don't even know what month it is.
Don't even know what month it is. Could be March. Chewy says the weather's worse in April than it is in March here in Wisconsin. Get us your Brewers thoughts. Are you, like me, more optimistic about the Brewers' chances to represent the NL Central based on what you've seen with them dealing with all these injuries? Again, I think it is a feather in the cap of Pat Murphy, and I think that there should be even more optimism and excitement for what this Brewers team can do. Yes, agree, disagree? Or do you think I'm getting out over my skis?
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of optimism. They still have this month to go. And if Chad Patrick continues throwing this way, if Tyler Alexander continues to throw the way he did on Friday, then they're going to be just fine. But as we saw, some of this can also blow up on them the way it did against the Yankees. I think it's going to be a rocky road. I don't think that they're in the clear by any stretch of the imagination. Whoever the first texter was, I agree with them. If they get to the end of this month and they're at 500, that's when some of the reinforcements are going to start to come. We know that we've got Quintana coming up on Friday, or potentially he's eligible to come off the IL on Friday, so he could potentially help out the Brewers. And then hopefully you get some of these other guys starting to get healthy.
Is St. Louis a threat?
No.
Not at all.
I mean, I don't think so. They're 4-5 right now, Chew, but
yeah.
This is a team that won like 83, 84 games last year and didn't really do anything to improve.
Yeah.
Well, it's the Cubs. I think the Cubs are the one you got to worry about.
But who cares if you get two teams coming out of this division? It really doesn't matter because it'll be a dogfight with the Cubs. Cubs are better. So it's early. It's early. Pump the brakes, But I like where they're at.
Hard not to.
I'm not going to say NLCS.
I love where they're at. They started 0-4 and they were giving up home runs like it was going out of style.
The run differential right now, guys, if you pull up the old MLB.com.
We don't need to look at that, Jen.
I was just going to say, it is always going to be skewed because of that first series of the season. When you give up 36 runs, I believe that's what it was.
Just saying, when you pull up the standings, just put your hand on the right part of the screen and don't focus on that side of it. Just focus on the left part.
Wasn't there something last year like the Brewers were one of the only teams that were leading their division but had a negative run differential? And we were like,
it was a couple years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, last year they were actually really positive in that.
So it was 2 years ago then.
And I believe the previous three also. they were winning close games and also getting blown out a lot.
Jerry weighs in saying, Chewy trusts the Brewers front office more than any other in the state. Curious his reasons. The Bucks won a championship. He has urged the Packers to make splashes in free agency. Don't tell him to look at the Brewers' off-season moves. Chew, why is the Brewers the franchise that you have the most confidence in?
Because baseball's unfair. It's grossly unfair. It's unfair.
Because of the no salary cap. Monetarily
no salary cap,
is what he's
the amount
saying.
of money. Yeah, it's just not fair. I mean, if baseball was fair and they had a hard cap like NFL, if they had the NFL model, they'd be the Kansas City Chiefs. They'd be the San Francisco 49ers. They would be one of those franchises that, who they'd be? They'd be like Pittsburgh, Everyone every year wants to be like, they don't. Russell Wilson, you're rolling with, and Fields, and they make the playoffs because they have a great organization. That's what I feel, as of late with the Brewers. They just figured out a way to get it done. And I'm not saying they're going to win the World Series, but I have every bit of confidence that they'll make playoffs.
So, again, some of that is because then you don't necessarily think the Brewers can make the World Series, but you think the Packers should make the Super Bowl, right? To me, It comes down to a difference of expectations from what I'm hearing from you.
Well, but also there's no – Brian Gutekunst had more money to spend off this offseason, didn't do it. Like, the Bucks have a bunch of money to spend. The front office for the Brewers – they've got more restrictions than those other teams.
Yes.
So when they're inactive in the offseason the way that they were, that's not a sign. Chewy's looking at it as they're not choosing to do that. This is, hey, these are the limitations that we have. If we can make something work, we'll try to make something work, but there are more limitations to the finances that the front office of the Brewers have than the Bucks and the Packers.
Is it safe to argue that both the Packers and Bucks have underwhelmed, save for obviously the one championship the Bucks have a few years back, and the Packers are the Brewers are constantly overachieving from what all their expectations are. Like, that's where we're at. The Brewers get the very most out of probably the least resources out of all three of those places.
Yeah, because every year, how many games are the Brewers going to win?
Right.
82. Oh, well, here you go. They won 93 again.
Right. So I agree with Chewy fully. Like, you get the absolute most out of the Brewers, and they are they've been in the middle pack, and now they're towards the bottom in spending. And they, once again, are a competitive team that are going to have a good chance to win the division and be in the playoffs.
It's like Willie Adames. Everyone knew there was no chance of him resigning. There was no chance, right? Mm-hmm. No chance. If Willie Adames was on the Packers, you would fully expect for them to re-sign him.
Yeah.
Correct?
Correct.
And that's the difference. They just figure out a way because it's unfair.
We'll take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. It's still a lot of stuff to get to. I'm sure you saw the Ovechkin news over the weekend. There are some streaks in sports that are going to have a tough time ever being broken. We thought that was one of them, and here we are. What's next? What'll be the next big streak in sports that gets broken? We'll talk about that in the second hour of the show. Stick around. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy rolls on.
Let me tell you about our good friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, because there's lots of buzz surrounding the draft. That's coming up. It's coming up fast. But you're not going to be finding a draft seeping through Pella's windows and doors. I was just out at their showroom last week, got to meet with a couple of people out there. Fantastic. Can't wait to have them at my house, and they can take a look at the windows I have, take a look at the doors that I have, and see if there's anything they can do to help my home be more energy efficient. And the great thing to me about Pella Windows and Doors, obviously they have great people, but the way they stand behind their product, and as long as they've been around, it is just fantastic. And they have so many different options for your budget, for your style. They're going to make sure you walk away happy. And right now, you can take advantage of no interest financing options or free glass upgrades. Their talented designers and installers can match your unique home through seamless customizations. Certain restrictions do apply. The deal does end April 30th, so place your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN. The most magical major of the season.
The return to glory.
It's Lake Lawn Resort Golf Week on 94.5 ESPN. That green-colored jacket awaits a new home this weekend. Leaderboard updates, special guests, and picks for who's going to win. Lake Lawn Resort Golf Week on 94.5 ESPN. Taking a round at their beautiful Lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course with deals for just $15 a person. LakeLawnResort.com.
Drum roll, please.
Carbless is here with refreshing new flavors. Introducing their Tropical Bliss Variety Pack. Let the summertime flavors of blood orange, watermelon, raspberry, and grapefruit whisk you away from the winter blues. New flavors, same great Carbless perks. Every handcrafted cocktail still has 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and just 100 calories. Find the Tropical Bliss Variety Pack in store wherever Carbless is sold and enjoy your winter passport to paradise. Grab a pack today and discover why Bliss is more with Carbless.
Let's talk about home turf. Your lawn is a reflection of your pride, hard work, and even competitive spirit. If you want a yard that makes the neighbors stop and stare, you need the right plan. That's where Weedman Lawn Care comes in. Weedman's lawn care program is kid and pet friendly, uses golf course quality fertilizer, and has an effective weed treatment to dominate any issue. Get a free quote of Weedman's winning formula for your yard at weedman.com and get 50% off your first treatment. That's weedman.com. Weedman for the win.
What's up, guys? We're back this year with my annual Home Plate charity concert presented by American Family Insurance. We'll be at the Pabst Theater on April 17th with performances from the Goo Goo Dolls and the Nicotine Dolls. Proceeds will benefit Live Like Lou, Visit Milwaukee, and the Brewers Community Foundation. There are sponsorship opportunities and tickets on sale now, so click the link in my bio to check it out, and I'll see you there.
Christian Yelich's Home Plate charity concert presented by American Family Insurance. April 17th at the Pabst Theater. Get your tickets now at visitmilwaukee.org/Yelich.
At Big Fish Contracting, we want every home project to be a good story worth sharing. That's why we as a team aim to exceed your expectations. We can improve any aspect of your home. Everything from a complex remodel to the essential roof, gutters, siding, and windows. Integrity, humility, and kindness are why we've grown in southeastern Wisconsin for the last 2 decades. Visit bigfishcontracting.com to learn how Big Fish is renovating homes and redeeming an industry.
For general contest rules, visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com.
Hey, Gina, did you hear about the draft?
Wayne, there's no draft at Pella.
There's definitely a draft. Right, Wildy? Yeah, everybody's talking about it.
Pella windows are constructed of the highest quality. No drafts.
Yeah, sure. Okay. No drafts. Got it. There's more than one draft?
No, but Pella should be everyone's #1 pick because right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades when you order by April 30th. Our talented designers and installers can match your unique home through dramatic sizes, custom colors, finishes, profiles, product types, and more, along with durable and distinguished details. All Pella products stand the test of time, which is why we confidently offer the best wood warranty in the industry.
So where is the draft?
Coon. Get no interest financing options or free glass upgrades at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 4/30/2025.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I just figured if I got the yellow ones from Mexico, I could slip those in without her. Did you know the Viagra in Mexico is yellow?
Had no idea.
Yeah.
Wait, can you just paint it? You just drop it in a little food coloring?
You probably could, like an egg.
I'm
going to try that.
Easter has a new meaning in the Chimura household.
On 94.5 ESPN.
You know what makes me happy? My wife being happy. That's why I go to the jewelry center. Let's be honest, most guys don't have a clue when it comes to buying jewelry. Gabe's one of the smart ones. Got the engagement ring and the wedding bands from the jewelry center for his wedding in 2022. They also do in-house repairs for watches and other fine jewelry like my championship ring when it needs work. I know where I'll be taking it to the Jewelry Center. They have 3 locations to stop into, Greenfield, Brookfield, and Burlington. And if my wife can't tag along, she can look through all the mini styles of diamonds and other fine cuts online at shoptjc.com. I'm living proof. Happy wife, happy life. The Jewelry Center will make it happen. Brookfield, Greenfield, Burlington, and online at shoptjc.com.
When really it's closer than it is too far.
I just want you guys to picture me on an airplane this weekend, listening to the show and listening to Joshy doing his best Chewy impression. You know what makes me happy? I was laughing in my seat out loud to the point that the woman next to me looked over. I was like, sorry. Sorry. I know I'm disruptive. I apologize. It's unfortunate you got stuck next to me. That was very funny stuff, Joshy.
Yeah, he was giving me crap. And I mean, Chewy, you could just you could just play one of them over and over again because it doesn't change. His inflections, his voice, and he was critiquing my live reads when his is are close to AI as humanly possible. They have the same emphasis, the pronunciations, the rises, the falls, they're all just written for him, all right ahead.
Well, the boss thanked me. He said, "Hey, thank you for working with Josh. That was great." Just saying.
What boss? Just out of curiosity, was that Ashley this time?
Confidential.
One of them.
The boss.
One of them.
Yeah, we got a lot of them around here.
Got
a lot of them around here, so just keep that one in the back pocket. It was a confidential conversation between my guy and the boss.
Although you are supposed to be an A or an F, so is he at least getting one of those grades?
Who, me or Josh?
Joshy.
Josh, I'd give him a B.
Great.
Don't want to be. You want to be an A or an F?
Well, you know.
I don't think that applies to live reads. I don't think anyone, unless it goes so poorly that it becomes like a part of the show.
I think it's for Chewy.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I've
give
done
us your
poorly.
best or give us your worst. There is no in between, big guy.
I think we should bring back the Blammer read, though, even though we don't have that sponsor anymore.
Well, that would
Just
make
for
it tough. You're going to have to get him, when you come back, you're going to have to get him to tape a new one.
The Jewelry Center?
Absolutely.
Okay. He's going to want something.
Careful what you wish for.
That's on you. You're the one who's got.
He's going to want something.
That's up to you.
But don't you have a whole list of things that you could give him?
The Blammer?
We all know what he wants. It's one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chewy doesn't know if he wants to give it up for a live read.
Well, I got to negotiate how many.
And he has to pass it through Angie. She counts them.
Yeah, she does. Good point.
Yeah. But you say, listen, I don't have to do the live reads if we pass them a little blue pill or a couple of little blue pills.
Oh, no, she'd say just one.
Seems fair.
She's like, spray paint some Tic Tacs and call it a day. All right, we still got a lot of stuff to get to here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. We want to talk about those records. Obviously, the Ovechkin thing happens over the weekend, passing Wayne Gretzky. What is the next record to fall? Will these records ever fall? We'll talk about that when we come back on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Eastbound 94 backing up right now from about 92nd Street all the way through to 13th Street, where there is an accident off on the left shoulder. On the westbound side backing up from about 20th all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Northbound 41, we got backups out of the Zoo Interchange all the way up towards Mayfair Road. Also, westbound 94 slowing out of the Zoo to the county line. Southbound 43 backing up from just before Hampton all the way down past Burleigh, with the northbound side slowing down from Fond du Lac Avenue to Keefe. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, a few snow showers, mostly cloudy, windy, cold, a high of 37. Tonight, clearing skies, cold with a low of 22. Weather's brought to you by Higher Love Cannabis Company. No matter the forecast, they have something to lift your spirit. Less than an hour from Green Bay, visit us in Ironwood and Menominee or online at findhigherlove.com/CBD. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Junior Achievement of Wisconsin has had business technology from James Imaging Systems for several years. Lori Salzman, Vice President of Enterprise Services, explains why.
We started with the document imaging, and I have to say that the service and support has been fantastic.
James Imaging Systems, a 100% Wisconsin-owned and managed business technology company.
I've never met an organization that is so responsive to make sure that we are up and running all the time for us to be more efficient and allow us to focus more on the work that we do for helping young people.
Lori, what's your recommendation to others that aren't getting that kind of attention from their business technology company?
Please call James Imaging, because they will work with you to make sure that you find a solution that can make you more efficient and productive.
Make the call, 262-781-7700, or visit jamesimaging.com. James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI-HD Milwaukee, a Good Karma Brands radio station. Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
We learned that Jacob Monk, one of the Packers draft picks, has a cold water allergy.
I didn't realize it until now, but I think I have a cold water allergy. I don't like going in cold water, so maybe I'm allergic to that as well.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I thought this was the baby's room. I'm really sorry.
I was in the pool! Yeah, they said they weren't concerned, but did make the joke of, let's just make sure he doesn't go ice fishing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's probably wise.
Well, all men hate cold water because of shrinkage.
Well, ordinarily, I wouldn't mind, but...
But what?
Well, I just got back from swimming in the pool, and the water was cold.
You mean shrinkage?
Yes! Significant shrinkage.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamora. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man
It was a day of greatness yesterday. UConn crowned national champions as they beat handily South Carolina. Not a great game, but good for UConn. Winning again. And then there is the Alex Ovechkin moment. I know where I was when I got the alert on my phone. I was actually here at the 3rd Street Market. We were having lunch. And I said, it happened. Alex Ovechkin has passed Wayne Gretzky. Now, we thought that this would happen. This wasn't one of those things where it was very fluky and you were like, oh my gosh, out of nowhere. Like, we'd been building towards it, as one does. You find yourself tuning in maybe to these games a little more frequently than you would otherwise. And so it did happen yesterday. And I loved the celebration that he had. Gabe, did you see the video?
The belly flop?
Sliding across. I mean, just it's like a kid, right? When you got a slippery surface out there, you baseball like a rain delay or whatever. They've got the tarp on the field. You just go out there and start sliding through, just have a little bit of fun. It was a cool moment for hockey. It was a cool moment for sports in general, and it got us thinking about some of the other records. So people didn't think that the record would be broken. People didn't think that anyone would be able to pass Gretzky's 894. And here we are, right? That was the 894 was the number. Now we're at 895. So we got thinking about some of the other records in sports that'll be tough to pass. Gabe, what were some of those records that we were discussing this morning? I know we said Wilt, we said DiMaggio, and Favre was on the list.
Yeah, so I mean, I think you start with Cal Ripken's consecutive games played streak. Doesn't seem like that's going to be going down anytime soon.
2,632 consecutive games.
It's a lot. It's a lot of straight games playing in baseball, so I don't think that one's going down. You mentioned Brett's consecutive games record played for a quarterback. Doesn't seem like that's going to happen because, admittedly, even if Favre was playing right now trying to do that, he wouldn't be able to, just based on the way the rules have changed, especially around concussions, the way they check more stringently for that. So I would put that up there. Wayne Gretzky, while that record was broken, his points record's never going to be broken in hockey. That one's absolutely insane. You could take away all of his goals and he'd still be the all-time points leader in NHL history.
Yeah, where is it? 1,963 career assists, 2,857 career points.
I believe he's 1,000 ahead of Jaromir Jagr, who's second on that list.
Yeah. That's why I look at this whole Ovechkin thing, and we tend to put everything through the LeBron Jordan prism, right? Where I don't think there's a big whichever way you go with LeBron and Jordan, the gap is very, very small, right?
Yeah.
The gap between Ovechkin and Gretzky is still big. Gretzky is the best, will always be the best. He's unbelievable. There's a gap. But going back to Brett, what makes Brett so impressive is the rules that Brett played under.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can't even sneeze on a quarterback. So I don't know how fair that record is.
Well, I
don't think it'll ever be beaten, but I don't think it's very fair.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to touch what Brett did. Because, again, like, you do get hit and you go through, concussion protocol. That's not something Brett had to go through. And I'm sure there were a couple of times he played when he probably wouldn't have been able to play under today's rules.
But Brett also didn't have the protection of you can't hit a quarterback.
Yes.
And
he played through a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, when he was doubtful, he played with the ankle. You've told that story a bunch of times. He barely walk on it, throws 5 touchdowns against the Bears. So he played through a lot in order to do that, and not a lot of guys can or are able to do that.
Let me ask you a question. You guys have any idea who the player is, non-quarterback, who has the most consecutive starts in the league?
Is it a kicker? Because that's not fair either.
I know Joe Thomas
I'm just
had an
asking.
impressive run.
Yeah, Joe had a really impressive run. But that's the other thing, like the longevity of Brett.
Yeah.
To do it. So, yeah, is it a kicker? Is it Mason?
I'm going to look up. You said who? Just a second ago?
Joe Thomas.
Joe Thomas.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just looking that up.
But Joe retired early.
Yeah.
He's kind of a bear.
His body, after playing so many consecutive games at such a grueling position, started
is it the body, or is you can only take so many losses?
He got his hip replaced last Monday, so I would say body first.
Whoa. Jason Witten, 179 consecutive starts. And to be fair, Joe Thomas not that far off. He had 167 consecutive starts. But Jason Witten has the record as a non-QB for the most consecutive starts in the NFL. Tim Brown, 176. Walter Payton, 170. And then I think it's 167 for Joe Thomas. That feels like something that could be.
I just don't know. I just think That's really hard to do because teams are even more cautious, it feels like, especially toward the end of the season. Like, oh, you're a little banged up. Well, we've got our playoff seeding wrapped up. Let's just go ahead and rest.
Now, here's something interesting for you guys. You want to talk about the nuance of what we're discussing. Joe Thomas had the consecutive snap record of 10,363. So snaps versus games. Obviously, we just mentioned Jason Witten. He's not out there for every snap.
No.
Right?
Yeah, because he's cycling in and out.
Right. But Thomas being out there for every snap, that obviously, is that more impressive than the starts? Yeah, probably.
I mean, do I think it's more impressive than Brett's starts? I do not.
Brett's starts, Jason Witten's starts. Jason Witten holds the record as a non-QB for the most starts at 179. Now, I said Thomas was close at 167, but his record is actually consecutive snaps. Playing every snap of a game?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, but that's again, that's what's expected of you at that position. You know, other positions like, oh, hey, I just ran a go route. Now they're going to naturally take you off the field, even though you're not hurt. So I guess that's while impressive. I don't want to diminish that, but I'm not as impressed.
If I had to put down everything I own on one of them, it's Cy Young's complete games, 749.
You know who's the closest active?
Somebody with 3.
Justin Verlander has 26, so he is over 700 behind, potentially tying Cy Young's complete game record.
You're saying the one that you would put your house on that will never be broken?
Yes. Correct. Yes. That ain't getting touched.
Feels safe, Josh. Good job.
That one.
I think Cy Young would throw like back-to-back double headers. It's insane.
How about hits in games? Who has it?
DiMaggio?
Yeah,
at
56.
What's been the closest to him ever?
There's been some notable ones where we were doing like live
30s
updates.
though.
Let me look it up.
30s?
No, so Paul Molitor had one when he was with the Brewers. I think he got to 42.
Oh,
when he was with the Brewers.
The player who came closest to Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hit streak is Pete Rose, who hit safely in 44 consecutive games in 1978.
Okay, so that was not as...
Yeah, well, so that one and Pete Rose's like overall hits, 4,256, doesn't feel like that's going down.
Yeah, with the way the game is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You get a couple. You get a torpedo bat in there. Maybe somebody does come close to
again. You need the torpedo bat plus the Brewers pitching staff. Like you need.
What
that
about basketball? Are there records in basketball?
Well, I got Wilt's points. We talked about that.
100 in a single game is not going to go down.
I don't know, but again, with the clip, they're hitting threes now.
Again, the closest has been Kobe.
I mean,
and it wasn't even that close.
Celtics 8 straight titles. That one seems pretty much never going to be touched.
I don't know. I also think that, honestly, whatever the all-time record that LeBron sets for points is going to be incredibly hard. Yeah. Because he was good from day one, got to skip a year, because that was before one and done was a thing. So he got to come straight out of high school. He gets that extra year. He's been incredibly durable, and now he's playing at an incredibly high level into his 40s. Like, that's not just you have to have this luck but you're going to have to want to at that age to do all the things that LeBron has had to do to keep his body in shape to be able to play at a high level.
You know which one I want to see broken the worst of all of them? Is the
is that like the most?
Yes,
okay.
the perfect season in the NFL, so I don't have to see the damn Dolphins pop their champagne.
That's getting annoying.
And Larry Zonka and all those guys be all high and mighty about their perfect season. Someone please break that.
Gabe, what about No More Tiger, Jack's record?
Yeah, that's not going to get touched. Like, golf is just way too deep for somebody to go on a run and win 19 majors to break that record.
There were some things in golf going on at that time that precluded a lot of people.
This list that ESPN.com put together, if you want to check it out, it says ranking most unbreakable records in sports. Steph Curry, 4,000-plus career three-pointers. That, of course, is an active record. They're saying that it would be very difficult for that to be eclipsed at any point, given, again, how long Steph Curry has played.
Yeah, but he also had some injuries early on. Like, I could see that one going down.
Really?
Especially at the rate that threes are getting shot.
43s a game sometimes. Who was it just shot 1 from 9 from 3, and it's like the guys never had the opportunity to shoot 1 for 9. Because if you missed if you're 1 for 4, you're
stop
not shooting.
Exactly. They're like,
they just keep shooting.
Don't take that
care.
shot. Emmett Smith, 18,355 rushing yards. The active leader is Derrick Henry, who obviously could continue adding to that list, but being just under 7,000 back makes that feel tough. Even if you have a clip of 2,000 yards per season, we're still looking at 4 years or 3.5
So
years.
he just has to have a historic season, 4
Every
years
year
in a row,
in order
and he's
to
there.
break
And he's there.
Emmett Smith's record.
Honestly, I think for the same reason I was just talking about with LeBron, I mean, breaking Jerry Rice's receiving record is going to be really tough.
That sits at 22,895. DeAndre Hopkins, the next closest, with just over.
He's the active leader.
Just over half. Yes, the active leader at just over half. What are some of the other guys who are closer though? Was like Randy Moss?
Oh, Randy
in there?
Moss was closer. Yeah. In terms of,
But you're not going to see receivers anymore playing. What did Jerry play till he's 40?
42.
Yeah.
He had
I mean,
1,200 receiving yards.
Yeah.
As a 40-year-old. 40 years old, he had 1,200 yards receiving.
Compiler.
Yeah, but one of those catches
Fine.
is
It's
complete bush.
nobody's going to touch it.
Yeah.
I would take a Packers receiver who could compile like that.
Well, I was trying to see how many Donald Driver had. I just Googled it, but it was 10,137.
It's a hell of a career.
Played for a long time.
Not even close. Jerry doubled him up.
What else? We mentioned Cy Young. You mentioned that Justin Verlander is the active leader with 26 complete games. They just don't play the game the same way. Wilt Chamberlain, in addition to the 100-point game that everybody talks about, he averaged 50.4 points per game in a single season back in 1961, 1962. He averaged 50 points per game that year.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it says active leader James Harden, who in 2018 and 2019 season averaged 36.
That's pretty good. He got close.
Could you do that, though? Could you be like, I mean, what is Giannis averaging this season? 30 plus, right? Because I keep seeing the numbers, 36, 35. He's averaging 30 plus. But could you be a really good guy on a really bad team and get close to 50 points per game?
No, because you're getting traded to a good team as soon as you can.
But for that 1 year.
Trade deadline comes up in February. Adios.
Simone Biles has 30 world gymnastics gold medals. Now, that is the Worlds and the Olympics. I think she only has 7 golds in the Olympics. But I did see Greeny talking about Michael Phelps this morning, who has 23 gold medals. And that may be a record that will be tough to break.
Because, again, it only comes around once every 4 years. So you have to peak that often.
And you have to be in multiple events, and excel at multiple events every year. What about Serena?
In there at all? Majors?
So she doesn't even have the women's record, I believe, for most
Really?
majors. I believe she's second on that list.
Huh. Wow. Okay.
Looking it up right now, who has the most majors in women's tennis? Margaret Court holds the records for the most Grand Slam titles in women's tennis with a total of 24, followed by Serena Williams, who had 23 Grand Slam singles titles. Now, they said most in the Open era, so there obviously is a distinguisher there. Steffi Graf, 22. Helen Wills. Didn't know. I'm not familiar with Helen's game. With 19 Grand Slam
She's
titles.
doing work back in the 20s.
Is that what she was there? I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Is that what it says? What about the Yukon Huskies? We started talking about the greatness of the Huskies yesterday, winning another title, 111-game winning streak. I remember in my early years at ESPN doing a feature when they had their 100th win in a row. I went and talked to a local elementary school and asked the kids what the significance of 100 was. And you know what they said? 100 is a very big number.
Prove them wrong.
You're right.
No, that was never going to get broken.
12 national championships also for Gino.
Yeah. Because the depth of the women's game, much like when Wilt was playing, right? Like Wilt could score 50 points and 100 points because the depth of talent just wasn't there the way that it is now. And as the women's game continues to get more and more popular, you have these stars, they're playing on television. The women's game is getting deeper and deeper, and therefore you can't just run through teams the way that Gino did, 20 years ago.
Chew, you have any idea who the active leader for consecutive games played in Major League Baseball is? It's a total wild card. I don't expect you to know, but I thought maybe there's a random chance that you've heard this guy. You got to guess?
Active leader?
Active leader.
I know who it is.
I'll tell you, Joshy, I'll tell you how many games this guy has played in a row. It's 629. You have any idea who the active leader for consecutive games played in Major League Baseball is?
No.
It's not Mike Trout.
Another.
Correct. Another.
He just played his greatest hits today. Drive by on Jair. Drive by on Mike Trout.
Like Mookie? Is Mookie old enough or no?
He's someone like Manny Machado.
Nope. You want to guess, Gabe?
Give us a team.
Matt Olson.
It is Matt Olson. Who's he with now? The Braves?
He is the Braves first baseman.
And he is hitting 233. Again.
Early.
Well, sure, but they got to keep putting him in the lineup is my point.
They will. Trust me. They will. That Brewers going to stop putting Christian Yelich in the lineup? Nope, he's going to be out there.
No, I suppose you're right. Fun conversation. What is the record that you think will never be broken, or the record that you think is next to be broken? I'm not sure that we went through what we think is next to be broken or could be broken next. These seem very far out there. So maybe I'll have the guys marinate on that for a few moments. The record that could be broken next. We'll talk about that after this on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
That green color jacket is pressed and primed for this weekend. It's the big tournament, and it's Lake Long Resort Golf Week here on 94.5 ESPN. Golf cart, drinks, and snacks for under $15 a person. Find out more, lakelongresort.com.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
All right. Northbound 43 backing up from before Fond du Lac Avenue all the way to Kiev. We've got delays on the southbound side, too, from just before Hampton Avenue all the way down to Burleigh. Eastbound 94, we got some backups basically from just before 84th Street all the way through to 27th. Westbound's going to be heavy from 27th to Mitchell Boulevard. And then we've also got an accident on the ramp from 84th Street to westbound 94, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Northbound on 41, slowing out at the Zooter change up past Watertown Plank Road, and then again from Mayfair Road up past Burleigh. Traffic is brought to you by the Yelich Home Plate Charity Concert. Join Christian at the historic Pabst Theater, featuring the Goo Goo Dolls, Nicotine Dolls, and comedian Charlie Behrens. VIP tickets and more at visitmilwaukee.org/Yelich. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast, a few snow showers, mostly cloudy and windy, cold with a high of 37. Tonight, clearing skies, cold with a low of 22. Weather is brought to you by Avondale Roofing. Raise the roof and your standards with Avondale Roofing, your trusted partner for over 30 years. Remember, they get on top so you don't have to. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
The most magical major of the season.
The return to glory.
It's Lake Lawn Resort Golf Week on 94.5 ESPN. That green collar jacket awaits a new home this weekend. Leaderboard updates, special guests, and picks for who's going to win. Lake Lawn Resort Golf Week on 94.5 ESPN. Taking a round at their beautiful Lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course with deals for just $15 a person. LakeLawnResort.com.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Football fans, Verizon is giving you the chance to win the ultimate draft experience with the Road to the Draft sweepstakes. 10 lucky winners will win tickets to the first day of the 2025 draft in Green Bay, including round-trip car service from Milwaukee, hotel accommodations, plus access to the Verizon viewing zone. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate draft experience powered by Verizon. Hurry to select Wisconsin Verizon locations to enter by April 13th. No purchase necessary to enter. Must be legal U.S. resident of Wisconsin or Illinois, age 21 years or older to enter. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit www.espnwisconsincontest.com.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Kyle Wallace. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free. No limit. Pay no interest until 2030, plus $500 off your home improvement project. Restrictions apply. Call 414-410-2000.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Thesaurus
What's a click below dumb?
You. No.
That's fine.
Whoa.
No, that's what I was
Good one.
getting
Good
at.
pop. Good pop.
I know.
Unnecessary.
I'm not dumb. I'm one click below dumb. We need to find out what that word is.
Don't you want to be one click above dumb?
Oh, that's right. I'm one click above.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Man, our loyal listeners make me laugh. We talk Packers wall to wall most days, right? Top to bottom, left and right, start to finish. Green Bay Packers. Every once in a while, I'll get somebody that'll be like, talk about something else. My goodness. Talk about the Bucks. Talk about the Brewers. Talk about Marquette. Talk about anything other than the Packers. We're regurging at this point. And we're going, yeah, but there's still stuff. We still got Packers. People are interested. The draft is less than a month away in Green Bay. So today we don't talk Packers, right? Not a lot of breaking news over the weekend. Not a lot of Packers stuff to get into. We'll talk about Matthew Golden in just a moment. And I got somebody on the Carbless Talking text line jumping in. Don, 8 in the 262, says, isn't there any Packers news to talk about? Well, Don, I'm glad you asked. Yes, we could talk about Matthew Golden. So give me the breakdown on how this all went down, guys, because as far as I could tell, people were CSIing their way to the determination that Matthew Golden, wide receiver for the Texas Longhorns, was in Green Bay this weekend. I assume it was not initially announced. Is that right, Gabe? Because Matthew Golden posted a picture from the airplane window of the lights of a city and something like #blessed. I'm making that up. I don't know exactly what it was. But what I loved was savvy Packers fans then took a map of Green Bay and basically overlaid it with the picture he had taken to show where the streets lined up and said, crack the case, he's in Titletown.
Yeah, it's not like the Packers are releasing the names themselves of all these people that are coming in for visits. So, yeah, every once in a while you got to do work, or, whoever the kid's agent is leaks it to, whatever reporter that, yeah, this is what they're doing. And, yeah, basically people cracked it. Reporter figured it out as well. And Matthew Golden, one of the Packers pre-draft visits. Again, one of those guys I think you're kind of doing your due diligence on just in case he slips and he falls down to you at 23. But I can't imagine that Matthew Golden's going to be available to win the Packers pick late in the first round.
So last week, Joshy, when Chewy was rattling off who was his premier wide receiver, you thought he was describing a guy like Golden, right?
Yeah, Chewy, we had Chewy described because Gabe and I gave like our draft crushes, and we sort of made Chewy give us traits on the person he was looking for. And to me, the traits he gave, which were like being able to stretch the field, kind of like Amon-Ra St. Brown, also can function, in the middle of the field as well. It seemed to fit Golden pretty perfectly. The reason we gave him Emeka Egbuka was because both Gabe and I thought he was likely to go before the Packers pick at 23. But as we know, sometimes what we see via the mock drafts and the Mel Kiper rankings, those don't bear out to be true. And it would indicate to us, him being on a visit with the Packers, that the Packers at least believe there is some chance he will be there at their pick at 23. And they also have interest in him if they're bringing him in for these visits, because as we know, these visits usually are indicative of guys they either are planning to draft or in some cases need better medical information, but there's nothing really about Golden that would be like medical red flag.
Who do you think's better?
Depends on your needs, I think.
What do you mean, between Golden and Ibuka?
I don't know, just the eye test, yeah. I mean, I've watched more Ibuka than I have Golden.
I lean towards the faster guy, which would be Golden.
Well, but Emeka Ibuka is a better route runner.
Yeah.
Which is what I want. I'll take the better route. I'll sacrifice a little bit of speed, the low 4.5s instead of mid 4.4s for a good route runner all day long.
Well, neither one of them are going to be a big body guy. I mean, we're looking at 5'11", maybe 6 foot, depending on which publication you believe.
Which pair of shoes he wore to
the recruiting boots.
Exactly. So again, when we've been talking about guys on the draft board, who's the kid from Arizona who's a bigger body?
Tetro McMillan.
Yeah, I can't get his name, man. I keep trying.
Tetro.
Yeah.
McMillan.
Yeah,
let's go with
T-Mac.
that. T-Mac.
I think people call him Tet McMillan.
Okay, I'll go with Tet McMillan because that rolls off the tongue a lot easier. He's the big-bodied receiver who is a bit of a crush. There are a lot of Packers fans who say, ooh, man, if we could get him, he answers a number of needs. But if it's more realistic to get a Matthew Golden or an Emeka Ibuka, which I still think is going to be tough, I still think Packers would likely have to jump up. Well, here's the thing. Maybe if you think it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, and you think that they're interchangeable, even though I think they're different, if you think they're interchangeable, maybe you figure you'll get one or the other. Is that a fair way to look at it, Joshy? You could get one or the other?
I think so, but as we know, the Packers they base on traits and they have size and speed thresholds. So I don't know if Ibuka is going to fit within that because I believe based on his size, he was disappointing in terms of speed. Golden, I believe, was one of the fastest guys at the combine.
Yeah.
Like altogether. So obviously we've talked about the Packers' need for speed. That guy in Golden would fit it. I do think he's more than just a speed guy. I don't want him to categorize as that. Some people think he's better in the slot. Some think he can play outside. There are also questions about his production because I believe he wasn't all that productive early in his time at Texas.
Well, how much do you think the versatility element plays into this? Because versatility is a strength of Emeka Ibuka, can play both inside and outside and is a good blocker. We know Green Bay loves the versatility, right? And we talk about it a lot of times on the offensive line, but it extends to other positions as well. Is that something that you think the Packers would prioritize Chew over somebody who's just really, really good at ostensibly one thing?
I think they have their inside guy. I think they like their inside guy, that being Reed. So I think they just want a pure Z. Z's typically your number one receiver in the offense. I think they feel that they may, and it's all going to depend on price. I think they have their X in Watson because he did get better. Obviously he's got a little setback with the knee, and next year it'll just come down to pure dollars. But I like him at X. I think they're just going to focus in on who can be the Z receiver in this offense for the next 10 years. And I think they look at Devontae. I think they compare everything kind of to Devontae. How tall is Devontae?
He was 6'1", I want to say, right around
6'1"?
that. Yeah, something like that.
So I think that's what they're going to do. They're not going to worry so much about inside. Like I said, I think they have that guy.
I think, interestingly enough, as much as they love versatility on the offensive line, defensive line, stuff like that, their wide receivers have been pretty much, you can play this guy here and that's it.
Yeah.
Like Reed can't play outside, and they've made that clear. Well, Watson, you put him on the outside and keep him there. Do I think they want a guy to be able to do that? Sure. But I don't think it's a detriment if they're better at one than the other.
I would agree, but I think the best receivers that Ted drafted, you could move around. Like Greg Jennings moved around. You could put Jordy Nelson in the slot. Obviously, Devontae Adams could move around as well. like that was like the hallmark of they had versatility and you could move them around.
What I'm trying to figure out is, did they move that guy around just because he was so damn good, or because you know what I'm saying? Like at a certain point,
they moved Jordy around because he was that good.
Well, a lot of time they move you
had Randall
around.
Cobb.
Right,
Yeah.
but CeeDee Lamb like also gets moved around a lot, and so does like a lot of the best wide receivers. They just play multiple positions because they're good at all of them.
Yeah, because
but
that's
they do
what
that.
creates stress on the defense.
Right.
So let me throw one more name out here, Chew, before we move on here. What about Luther Burden, the kid from Missouri? Because while his numbers are not even with the Emeka Ibukas, who's the other guy we were just talking about? I lost his name. Matthew Golden. Thank you very much. He also is getting comped there. He is also being mocked to the Green Bay Packers at 23. Of those three, I think people would look at the numbers and say, well, he's probably the third of the three. But if you can convince yourself that all three are worth a spot at the Green Bay Packers, maybe they do go wide receiver with that first pick. I have been of the belief that they will not. But, man, if you've got three options like that and you think they can really upgrade your wide receiving core, Chew, it wouldn't surprise me then.
You don't think he'll drop to the second round?
Which one?
I could see the kid from Missouri.
He could. It's possible.
Because I could see them taking, I just still think it's going to be the interior D lineman and then trade up in the second to get him.
They would have to trade
because
up. I don't think Burden would last all the way to where they are.
I think he's a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Really?
But honestly, when we're talking about Emeka Ibuka, I wonder if Josh is right. Like, the fact that we know Goody brings in guys that he likes and wants to potentially draft, and we know, and again, maybe they bring in Ibuka still at some point here because they've got a handful of visits left. Bringing in one of those guys over the other just is clearly telling me they have a preference here, and I wonder if the Ibuka lack of speed almost disqualifies him from the Packers.
Yeah, but if you look at Ohio State receivers, there really hasn't been a bust. Has there been a bust that you can remember in the near future?
In the recent past?
Yeah. Sorry.
I mean, Michael Thomas, when he came in, was good.
He was
but he
good,
just,
Gabe.
Yeah, but I'm just saying he flamed,
because he's a nutcase.
He flamed out.
That's why he fizzled out
very quickly. But yeah, he was good. He was good for the first handful of years, and then just
So they might
fell
like
off.
the school. They might like they know Ohio State out of high school is getting the best receivers in the country.
Yeah, but
right?
I mean, also like Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, like. There's good guys that come there, and it seems like
LSU has a say in it as well.
Yeah,
and it seems like, they're pretty good at picking them, but are they top end, or are they just pretty like Chris Olave? Good, not great, good.
Yeah, but a good first-round pick. You just don't want to swing and a miss. Who's the kid from TCU that was absolutely horrible? That went to the Eagles.
Q.
And they dumped him.
Yeah,
Jalen Reagor's who you're thinking of?
Reagor. Horrible. And there were some good receivers around. Didn't he go before Justin Jefferson?
I believe he went the pick right
Vikings
before.
threw a party when they made that pick.
I think that's what GMs, they just don't want a big swing and a miss, right? I think most people say Olave, yeah, I'd take him all day long, first-round pick. Middle of the pack or in the 20s, and I think they're fine with it.
Well, I was thinking of Quentin Johnston. I'm glad that that's not who we were talking about there as being a bust. I was like, can we just wait and see how that shakes out from the 2023 draft? Let's put it on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter poll this morning, and here's how I want to phrase this. If the Packers take a wide receiver with their first pick, again, there's a chance they'd have to move up to get the guy they want. Who do you want? Who do you want of those four guys that we just mentioned there? Because we mentioned T-Mac. We're talking about Golden because he was in Green Bay this weekend on a visit. And then I just mentioned the Luther Burden as an option as well. And then Emeka Ibuka from Ohio State, who obviously has the national championship under his belt. If you look at the numbers, in 16 games, 16 games are guys that played. Let's go 12 games each. I got the list in front of me here. Ibuka had 5 receptions per game. He averaged 5 receptions per game for 731 total yards, 60 total yards per game. These are averages, of course. Burden averaged 65 yards per game. Golden, 48 yards per game. I wish I had touchdowns here because that to me is actually important, how often they found the end zone. But their numbers are eerily similar, guys. Very similar. There's a drop-off here or there for yards, or there's a drop-off here or there for receptions, but they're all kind of right there in that mix. And again, to Chewy's point, who's better? I think it depends on what you want. I think it depends on what you need from the wide receiver position to determine who's going to be the best fit for you. So I am curious who our loyal listeners would want as a wide receiver if you had your choice of those 4 guys. We'll take a break, roll on right after this, but I want to tell you guys about my friends over at Professional Construction, Inc. in Waukesha. Our handy projects around the house, not the easiest for Dario and I to do on our own. And that's why we always call our friends over at PCI, whether it's a remodeling project, a home addition, or we're thinking about building a new home. We got this issue. You guys might remember a few years ago, we had a balcony off the backside of one of our bathrooms, real random, but it was leaking into our house whenever there was a snowstorm and the snow would pack onto that balcony. So we had our friends over at PCI come over and just close off the door to our kids' bathroom. Well, now we got to do something with it, man. We can't just have plywood up over the door, forever. So we got to have our friends over at PCI back out to the house so they can tell us maybe they'll put a window there for us instead. Maybe we move the door so we still have access to the balcony. Who can say? You know who can say? The folks over at PCI. Mike and Michelle operate a family-owned company. They build relationships, and they do exceptional work on your projects. Learn more about PCI, see their work, maybe even see some of the projects they've done at our house at professionalconstructioninc.com. That's professionalconstructioninc.com.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Northbound 43 backing up from about Kilbourne all the way up to Keefe. The southbound side slowing from Hampton all the way down past Burleigh. Westbound 94 a little bit heavy right through the stadium interchange from about 35th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. On the eastbound side, we got delays from 84th Street all the way to 27th. Traffic is brought to you by Fisco Auto Body. Call Fisco Auto Body to help with all body repair needs. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, a few snow showers, mostly cloudy, windy, and cold, a high of 37. Tonight, clearing skies, cold with a low of 22. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Julie Granger is the president of Junior Achievement of Wisconsin. Julie, your organization has business technology from James Imaging Systems. Yet today, please tell us about Junior Achievement's unique mission.
Junior Achievement of Wisconsin has a mission of inspiring and preparing young people for success in a global economy. We serve students anywhere from kindergarten through 12th grade, and we just started serving young adults 18 to 25.
I understand financial literacy is also an important part of your mission.
Financial literacy is critical to the long-term success of every individual so that they can plan their futures and they can live their dreams.
To help turn those dreams into reality, how can everyone get involved?
We are looking for people who are willing to donate their time, treasure, and talent to the organization.
What's the first step?
The best way to reach us is through our website, wisconsin.ja.org.
James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner.
Becoming a truck driver doesn't have to be complicated. At Schneider, we make it easy to get your commercial driver's license and start your new career. With our CDL apprenticeship training, you'll get paid to become a truck driver in just 5 to 6 weeks and have a Schneider driving job waiting for you when you've completed the program. Plus, during training, Schneider will provide transportation, lodging, and meals at no cost to you. Ready to get your career on the road? Learn more and apply today at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
No shortcuts, no compromises, just the job done right. At Exterior Pros, we don't just meet expectations, we crush them. Every nail, every window, every shingle is a step toward your home's next chapter. From the moment we start until that final reveal, we're committed to making your home better than ever. Quality products and craftsmanship you can count on. Go to the pros for your next project. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible: overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right, pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply, NMLS 696891.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly. It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Josh said it's garbage.
I'm so glad that Josh is getting a front row seat.
He said it's garbage. It doesn't work.
Chewy,
am I right or wrong?
We call that a setup in the biz.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Where were you 10 years ago this week? I know where I was. I know where Gabe was. I know where this guy was.
Do you know where I was?
Well, you weren't. You were there, but you weren't there.
No, I wasn't there.
You weren't there?
No, I was in Lithuania.
I don't know where this guy was.
I knew where you were, Benny.
I knew she didn't know where I was.
I just assumed you were at the games.
No.
My bad.
With the 8-hour time difference, I believe these tips are kind of late.
Oh, they're so late.
I remember watching this game at like 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. in Lithuania in my bedroom.
Oh, that's amazing. So we have Ben Brust on the show this morning.
Let's ask Josh.
Is it amazing that you played basketball in Lithuania?
No, is it amazing being in Lithuania at 4 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Only you can tell me about Lithuania.
5,000 people village. No one spoke English, and yeah, it was not great.
Ate your meals at the local factories.
Factories. If I wanted chicken, I'd say bok 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 bok. Like they literally couldn't understand me.
What do they speak?
Lithuanian, and we were sponsored by. Yes, Chewy.
I didn't know if it was Spanish or what. Everyone
Spanish. It's right next to Russia.
He doesn't know where Lithuania is.
Oh man, not shocked at either. You not knowing and him thinking Spanish is what they speak in Lithuania.
Me not knowing that you weren't at the Final Four when Wisconsin knocked off Kentucky, ending their undefeated season 10 years ago. So why are you here, Ben?
Great question.
Talk about Lithuania.
Yeah, of course. I gambled all my money away. I smoked my first cigarette outside a casino.
What'd you do if you want beef? Did you moo like a cow?
It was a lot of pork.
You went que paso.
So I didn't oink at them if I needed pork.
Wait. I'm not going to miss this opportunity to have you oink on the radio. If you had wanted pork, how would you have told them?
Please?
All right, I'm out. It's not going to get any better than that.
Baxter, you don't speak Spanish. So, 2015 was obviously an unbelievable season for Wisconsin basketball. I was not on that team, but to see the way that they parlayed going from the 2014 Final Four, Frank Kaminsky really became a nationally known basketball player in the Elite Eight game against Arizona. And then he had all the hype heading into the 2015 season. Sports Illustrated magazine then became National Player of the Year, in which they knocked off 38-0 Kentucky. Lost to Duke. But with that, I think that this team has a place in a lot of Wisconsin fans' hearts. And it being the 10-year reunion of the 2015 Final Four season, we came up with an idea here at our company to throw on a live event. I know we've talked a little bit about Thanalysis Live. You know, we do live events as part of our company, and we were like, well, why don't we do something with these guys that, you know, when we were in November, the university put on a great event, the 2014 and 15 Final Four reunion, but a lot of guys were overseas playing right now. Nigel Hayes is in EuroLeague playing really well. Sam Decker's now in Spain. Frank Kaminsky made it, but like we didn't have everyone together. So our goal is to put on a live event where, simply put, you have general admission tickets to enjoy the show. We'll have some surprises, as always, of different people that might not be listed, but confirmed Sam Decker, Frank Kaminsky, Bo Ryan, Josh Gosser, and then others are definitely going to be sprinkling in there. And so doing a live event where really you get to, like, if you love that team, right, and there's a lot of clips that go viral, not necessarily about them beating Arizona again in the Elite Eight or beating Kentucky where they were 38-0. It was Nigel Hayes, accidentally slipping that he had a crush on the person who does the quick writing with their hands.
The stenographer.
Stenographer person. And so viral clips, like, those are the moments that made that team very likable. And to get everyone together 10 years later is going to be really special because everyone's in different places in life. They either have kids or have started jobs or are still playing. So June being in the summer when most of the players who are still playing professionally are done with their seasons, giving them all the Orpheum in Madison. So it's going to be on June 26th, a 2015 Final Four reunion. You can get your tickets at uwhoops2015.com. That is uwhoops2015.com. My job is to simply, believe it or not, stay out of the way, which is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But I'll be hosting this and making sure that all those...
That's in direct contradiction. You're hosting and you have to stay out of the way? That doesn't make any sense.
I just want to set them up because they have stories that even I don't know that I'm interested in. The name of the event is Made 'em Believe because Make 'em Believe was what they put on their shirts. And to be honest, like, I had heard it and, like, I still don't even know who came up with it. Like, why was that the mantra for the team? Once you get all those guys together, they have stories after stories after stories about what each player sort of meant to the team on the court. And I'm not going to lie, I guarantee the off-the-court stuff is what they're most excited to talk about because of how close all of these guys were because they were able to spend 2 years going very deep in the NCAA tournament. And obviously tonight being the national championship, I appreciate you guys having me on to talk about how they at least, got to see Duke choke, and it would have been nice to see them choke against the Badgers, but they did not.
How do you get tickets?
uwhoops2015.com.
We actually have put a link on the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube stream. I see it there from ESPN Milwaukee right now. If you want to jump over to that, that's
Additionally, ESPN Milwaukee on Twitter, we have a link in our bio. It's the link tree that has your podcast, all of our shows' podcasts, and a link to get to the tickets.
Did you guys ever get an explanation from Adidas as to why those uniforms were so ugly? And did that really just directly lead to University of Wisconsin going to Under Armour? Because that's the worst part of watching these highlights, Ben. Those uniforms are terrible.
They're boxy. The shorts are ugly. I don't know if you guys saw what the Badgers wore against BYU, but those were made by the players. And there's like a Bucky on the shorts, like really cool. And I don't know if the Under Armour contract was signed already, and Adidas was just like, you're going out looking like these, block guys, horrible jerseys, but they hated the jerseys as well. I know for a fact the players were like, what are these things? So a whole lot more to dive into than just like, what was it like, hitting that shot? They're going to have stories for days.
What do you mean made the jerseys? They sewed them themselves? Or what do you
designed the jerseys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We didn't send them to a sweatshop.
Oh, these are bad. I didn't remember them being bad. Obviously, it's got a little bit
I don't
of like
either.
They're awful.
A folk lore
there's
reputation.
just an awkward it's the white uniform. It's got the awkward red stripe at the top of the short line.
The red ones are the same. They've got the awkward white stripe right across your area.
Waistline.
I'll leave the innuendos to you guys.
Waistline, I believe.
Right. Yes, exactly. But it's long.
He's just giggling.
It's like it's like a
so I'll see you there, right, Shu? UW-Hoops2015.
Yeah. What times? What time is it? At 10 in the morning?
7 and 9 p.m. at your Orpheum in Madison.
I got that thing going on.
Let me ask you a question, Ben. Chewy told us a story this morning about how he had some people over, and when it was time to wrap things up, the guy wouldn't leave. Do you have a go-to? Do you have a go-to line when you want people to leave your house?
Oh, man, that is a great question. I'm the person of our household that will be the more aggressive, like, all right, don't we have to take the daughter to blank or blank?
The daughter?
Oh, she is the best excuse in the world for everything.
He's direct at telling people to leave and that they're not invited to his wedding. He's very good at that.
Was waiting for. You know what? You made it pretty far, Joshy. 8:52. It's pretty late for you to drop in.
You lucked out because that was
the
gonna
wedding
be
jab.
A major part of this
Well,
gathering.
you know what? Just stick around, will you? Will you just hang out with us? Yeah, Ben Brust hanging out with us this morning, talking about this
for the
event.
negative minutes we have for our final segment.
Talking about this
The last
event.
minute will be me saying UWHoops2015.com, and then Josh proceeding to berate me on how I put him in the worst spot in the world.
We'll take a break. Be right back after this.
There is just one more game left in the college hoop season, and you can get in the action with Wanna Parlay. That's WANNA. It's just $2 for taking home a huge cash prize. It's a blast. It's so simple to use, and there are new basketball, baseball, hockey, and combat sports contests every single week. It's only $2 to enter a parlay into the contest, plus there are always free-to-play games. Here's what you should do. Download the Wanna Parlay app and click around. If you decide to deposit money, you can use promo code JGC for a 100% deposit match. Code JGC. Must be 18 years or older to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER today.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
She's different and special and loaded with personality.
And there's one more thing, but you can't explain it in words. She's the one.
She's the one.
The one. You know it.
Your friends know it.
The whole world knows it.
We curated a special selection of engagement rings for her.
Can you guess what we call it?
We call it the One Collection by Kessler's.
Because these engagement rings are different.
And special.
And loaded with personality.
And one more thing. But you can't explain it in words.
Engagement rings in the One Collection start at just $725.
But some of them are more.
A lot more.
But we've got you covered.
First, we have 12 months financing at 0%. Or
second, we have 36 months financing at 9.99%, both with approved credit.
Third, we have second chance financing if you need someone to give you a second chance.
And don't forget the Kessler's warranty.
The strongest warranty of any jewelry store in the world.
For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on the Packers. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Empower. Nick bought a new guitar, a 62 American Classic Electric. Does he know how to play? No. But Nick's Empower investment account has performed well. He got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risks. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. This is a really good guitar solo.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
You want more physical harm beset upon people who are trying to earn a living.
I want winners. If someone has to die in order for us to win, then that's the price you pay.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Here we go.
In the final seconds we have Countdown here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Ben Bruss, tell everybody where they can get tickets to the event.
UWHoops2015.com. It's going to be at the Orpheum in Madison on June 26th from 7 p to 9 p, celebrating the 2015 Final Four team, getting everyone live and in person for an event.
And who do you got in the game tonight?
I love Houston. There are dogs. And when I saw they were underdogs, I was like, people are just going to still hang on to Florida. And it's been a very chalky, a lot of favorites have been winning, but I love Houston.
Oh, 4 number ones in the Final Four is chalky? You don't say.
But even like the favorites covering against the spread, also chalky.
Of course you were talking betting. What was I thinking?
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah, pick that up.
Josh, how you doing?
I got a text message this weekend. It was a picture of that Final Four team. Ben Bruss was involved. Text message from my mom read, "Still dead to me."
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got some stuff up my sleeve to make Brenda happy. Brenda before Josh, at least.
Yeah, just say, you got a lot more work to do there.
Really it's going to be a year process.
Wildy and Tausch is next on ESPN Milwaukee. All right.